videos for this beautiful game of Baldur's Gate 3. We are actually going to get started by not being in the game. You're going to head to Steam. And the first tip is if you're using Steam, you can actually bypass this annoying launcher by right-clicking the game name in your library. So let's go to that. You're going to go to Properties, General, and then under Launch Options, you want to type in skip launcher. Oops. Um, don't put anything else, and then don't do anything else. That's it. It will stay there. Now you won't have that launcher when you run the game. And to test that out, let's run the game. And bam, no launcher. Straight to the game, as I promised. So now let's get in the game and finish off the tips and tricks for the day. I'm going to be going over some stuff like general, a couple under inventory management, and a few combat tips because it is very important. What a lot of people don't realize about this game is that you don't want to always focus on how strong you are or how many times you can hit, because a lot of those cards, a lot of those moves are very underestimated. Talking to animals, calling familiars. You don't always want to necessarily focus on how strong you are, but how smart you are as well. You know, they say brains over brawn. The next tip is actually going to be turning off the karmic dice. That's a setting that we're going to do under options and then gameplay. What that does, by the way, it's defaulted to on, obviously, so that's why we're turning it off. But what it does is essentially allows your party to take more damage. So let's head over to options. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. Am I blind? Oh, I'm I'm already under it. All right. And then bam. So the karmic dice avoids failure streaks while keeping the results mostly random, but that also allows your party to take much more damage. So shutting this off instantly, as soon as you get in the game, before fighting or anything, you will see a difference. So in this game, unlike D&D, casters can actually swap out their prepared spells any time outside of combat, which does kind of defeat the purpose of, having prepared spells, but whatever. So swap in a buff for situational spell if you need it, and then you can switch back to your regular preparation list. To do this, you're actually just going to press tab and head over to the spell book for the character you want, X out the spells you don't want, enter in the spells you do want. I'm actually not going to do that right now because I already have all the spells that I want to have for the people that I have. I think I actually have room for one more. No, I don't. I thought I did. It's very useful if you are indecisive like myself. You don't know what spells you want, and you don't want to spend all day working on it. So keep in mind that you can go back later and swap them out. What a lot of my friends I notice don't notice is the amount of things you can loot, including bodies, boxes, crates, barrels, and you need to keep in mind that a star after a corpse or a container means that you haven't looted it yet. If an item's nameplate is red, like so, it means it's basically stealing to loot it, and you can get caught, get in trouble. You could read books and notes by right-clicking it, and it's not going to count as, picking it up or stealing it or anything. But items like this, let's go into the barrel.
Not for communal use, it seems.
Not for communal use, it seems. Let's show some respect.
Or some more cunning.
Or some more cunning. And it seems like Will didn't like that, 'cause something happened with him when I did that as well. But keep in mind as well when you're fighting that humans get racial bonuses of being able to use light armor and shields. This is actually important because you'll pick up human casters as companions early in the game. And since saves are versatile and can be used in one hand, you give him a shield and some light armor and he'll be quite hard to hit. This saves a spell slot for mage armor or lets you use it elsewhere. So earlier I actually also mentioned something about inventory management. You can drag items from an inventory onto a character Oh, I'm not going to be able to loot this one to show you guys, but you can... Oh, that's what it was. Their attitude for will went down. But anyways, back on track. You can drag items from an inventory onto a character portrait and have it go to that character. What that means is this works when looting chests and corpses, and it can actually help keep things really sorted and organized. So instead of taking all or just dragging it into one person, you can actually just grab it and drag it onto their portrait right there. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to steal that.
Traders have private property. It seems that...
Let's leave. As for the combat, which is really important, you want to understand that you can actually block paths with things like crates, and you can prepare for battles by actually blocking off choke points and making it harder for enemies to get to your squishies or any of your other partners. The other important thing is that high ground gives you ranged attacks. I mean, gives you ranged attacks and spells +2 or -2 to a hit. The reason I say is +2 or -2 is because that depends who is on the high ground, whether that's you or the enemy. If you're on the high ground, you're obviously going to be getting that +2. If they're on the high ground, they're going to be getting a -2. So you're going to want to get on the high ground for an ambush for sure. Doing things, by the way, like pushing and pulling is going to be really useful. Because if you are on a high ground, for example, and somebody comes up on you, using that push ability is going to get him off of you pretty quickly because you'll be able to push him off the cliff. And then consider the amount of time it's going to take him to get back on that cliff. So, or you'll at least be able to knock him out of position or topple him. Thunderwave's a great thing for doing this actually to multiple enemies. Try not to knock bosses into the abyss because you really want to loot those guys. If you are on the high ground and you are able to get a shot off, you got something nasty around you, make sure you dip your arrow or whatever you're tossing in something like poison or whatever is nasty around you. And on the reverse, if you get hit by something poisonous or just nasty in general, you're going to want water. If you step in water, chances are that it will help wash it off. It's going to wash off anything that you picked up off the floor or got shot with. Speaking of, if you need to actually get out of that or you need to get over it, using your jump ability in combat is actually a great way to avoid poison or acid or anything that's on the ground. It can also give you a shorter path, bypass obstacles, and give you a height advantage. So that's all the tips and tricks for today, guys. It's a short list for today. I appreciate you stopping by. Feel free to subscribe, stop by again, and share my videos. Looking forward to giving you guys more tips in the future as well.